Remember that tension between Chennedy Carter and Caitlyn Clark at the start of the season? Well, looks like history is repeating itself. And this time, things got even more serious. But hold up, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What went down on the court is just a symptom of a much bigger situation. The Chicago Sky is in trouble. Angel Reese's Rookie of the Year dream might be slipping through her fingers. And that's good news for Caitlyn Clark, who's making everyone eat their words. Buckle up, because today we're going to break down how a single game might have changed the entire course of the WNBA season. And by the end, you'll understand why the next matchup between the Fever and the Sky could be the most important game of the year. So hit that subscribe button, and let's get real. The Chicago Sky is in a tough spot, and the game against the Connecticut Sun just made it even more obvious. But before we get into the scoreboard details, we need to talk about Chennedy Carter. Seems like she didn't learn her lesson. During the game, she pulled this unnecessarily aggressive move. This isn't just poor sportsmanship. It's a serious problem that the WNBA needs to address, and fast. But the Sky's problem goes beyond one player. The 82-80 loss to the Sun was a hard blow. And it's not just the score that's worrying, it's the vibe within the team. You can feel the tension in the air. The Sky is falling further and further behind the Indiana Fever in the standings. And worse, the Atlanta Dream is creeping up from behind, threatening their position. This isn't the season Sky fans were hoping for. A team that should be fighting for a strong playoff spot is now fighting not to fall even further. The big question now is, how's the Sky going to bounce back from this? Can they turn things around, or are we watching the beginning of the end of their playoff hopes? One thing's for sure, if the Sky wants to save their season, something's got to change, and quick. Focusing more on Angel Reese. In the game against the Connecticut Sun, Reese pulled down a whopping 20 rebounds. That's a killer performance that shows off her skills in that part of the game. However, despite that individual effort, the Sky couldn't secure the win. This brings up a relevant question. How does one player's performance relate to the team's results? The race for Rookie of the Year is heating up, and Reese has been a strong contender. But the challenges faced by the Sky as a team might impact her chances. The team's difficulty in turning rebounds into wins could be a factor in this race. In contrast, we've got Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever, who came back strong after the Olympic break. The Fever is on an upward trajectory, and Clark was named Player of the Week, which adds an interesting element to the Rookie Award competition. It's important to note that while Reese's individual stats are impressive, basketball is a team sport. Team success is a major factor in evaluating Rookie of the Year. The Fever's position in the standings, compared to the Sky's, could be a significant element in this equation. Plus, the recent incident involving Chennedy Carter is another factor that could affect the Sky's team dynamics. The question is, how will Reese's individual performance be evaluated in the context of her team's challenges? And how does that compare to Clark's situation with the Fever? What we can say for sure is that the Rookie of the Year race is still open. But with these factors in play, I'm already predicting Caitlyn as Rookie of the Year. I'm really pumped to see how this award shakes out, especially because the Indiana Fever, who were in a horrible situation last season, are flying high with Caitlyn. The girl is playing out of this world basketball, proving that all that hype around her was more than justified. With the Fever's rise, we can pretty much say they've got one foot in the playoffs. This shows the impact an exceptional rookie can have on a franchise. But what could really seal the Fever's playoff fate is the upcoming showdown against the Chicago Sky. Think about it. If the Fever wins this game, they'll not only solidify their playoff position, but also push the Sky further down in the standings. It's practically a 6-point game, and we can't forget the psychological factor. A win against the Sky would be a huge confidence boost for the Fever. Plus, it'd be more proof of how far Caitlyn Clark has taken this team in such a short time. What makes all of this even more incredible is that the Fever isn't a one-player team. Sure, Clark is the star, but we've seen an impressive collective effort. The whole team seems to have found new energy after the Olympic break. The big question now is, how far can the Fever go? Are we watching the birth of a new WNBA title contender? It might seem premature, but with the way things are going, nothing seems impossible for this Fever team. One thing's for sure, the game against the Sky is going to be way more than just another regular season matchup. It could be the moment when the Fever shows the rest of the league that they're not just here to participate, but to seriously compete. But we really need to highlight Caitlyn's evolution. She hasn't just improved her game, she's elevated the entire Fever team's level. And even Christie's sides confirmed this.
Especially when you got a point guard like Caitlyn Clark. I mean, she's the ultimate competitor, and she makes other people around her have that same mentality, which is great.
The numbers don't lie. She's leading the rookies in points and assists per game. But the most impressive part, she's playing like a veteran, not like a rookie. Remember that game against the Phoenix Mercury? Clark finished with 29 points and 10 assists. Folks, those are MVP numbers, not rookie numbers. And the craziest part is she makes it look easy. But it's not just about the numbers. Clark's impact goes way beyond stats. She's completely changed the Fever's dynamics. The team now plays with a confidence we haven't seen in years. And that's reflecting in the stands too. Fever games are among the most watched of the season. And you know what's most impressive? Clark is doing all this while dealing with enormous pressure. Remember Gino Auriemma? Before the Olympic break, he made some comments that left a lot of Clark fans ticked off.
But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
Well, looks like she's responding in the best way possible. On the court. Clark isn't just playing well. She's silencing the critics. Each assist, each three-pointer is like she's saying, I'm here to stay. And most importantly, she's doing it in a way that elevates the whole team. Compared to Angel Reese, for example, Clark seems to be a few steps ahead in terms of team impact. While Reese shines individually, Clark makes the whole Fever shine with her. The big question now is, are we witnessing the birth of one of the greatest players in WNBA history? It's too early to say, of course, but one thing's for sure. Caitlyn Clark isn't just the future of the league. She's the present. And what an incredible present for basketball fans. But for this type of star to be valued and remain safe, we need to talk about player conduct on the court and the WNBA's responsibility in dealing with it. The incident involving Chennedy Carter isn't something we can sweep under the rug. Carter, who already had a history of aggressive behavior, starred in another moment of unnecessary tension. This isn't just a problem for the Chicago Sky. It's a problem for the entire league. The issue here is bigger than a simple foul or heated rivalry. We're talking about unsportsmanlike behavior that can tarnish the WNBA's image. And more importantly, it can put other players at risk. The league needs to take a firm stance. It's not the first time we've seen this type of behavior. And if nothing's done, it certainly won't be the last. The WNBA has a responsibility to ensure not just fair play, but also a safe environment for all athletes. Think about it. What message are we sending to young girls who dream of playing in the WNBA? What kind of example are we setting? The league has a unique opportunity to show that sports are about skill, teamwork, and mutual respect, not about intimidation or aggression. And we can't forget the impact this has on the team itself. The Chicago Sky is already going through difficulties, and this kind of incident only makes the situation worse. It affects team morale, on-court dynamics, and consequently, performance. The WNBA needs to act, and fast, whether through heavier fines, longer suspensions, or awareness programs. Something needs to be done. Because in the end, we're not just protecting the players, we're protecting the future of women's basketball. It's time for the league to show that it takes the integrity of the game and the safety of its athletes seriously. Only then can we ensure that the focus remains where it should be, on the amazing basketball these talented women play night after night. What do you think? Is the WNBA doing enough to deal with this kind of situation? Or is it time for more drastic measures? I personally think the league needs to start paying attention to this kind of thing, or everything could get worse. But despite this situation, we need to fasten our seatbelts because we're approaching the climax of this incredible story that is the WNBA season. Imagine the scenario. On one side of the court, we have Caitlyn Clark, the phenomenal rookie who's rewriting expectations of what a freshman can do. She's coming in hot, with the Fever on the rise and confidence through the roof. On the other side, we have a desperate Chicago Sky, a talented team that for a number of reasons is on the brink. They know that a loss could mean the end of their playoff hopes. And in the middle of all this, we have Angel Reese, still fighting to keep her Rookie of the Year dream alive. But that's not all. We also have the Chennedy Carter factor. After the recent incident, how will she behave? Will the Sky be able to keep their composure under all this pressure? And we can't forget the bigger context. The entire WNBA will be watching. This game could be a turning point not just for these two teams, but for the whole league. As the game approaches, the tension only builds. Every press statement, every practice, Every move on social media will be analyzed and reanalyzed. This isn't just another regular season game. It's the kind of showdown that defines careers, that creates legacies. So cancel all your other plans, because this is the type of game you'll want to tell your grandkids you watched live. What do you think will happen in this epic clash between Fever and Sky? Will Caitlyn Clark continue her meteoric rise, or will the Sky manage to turn things around? And what about the Rookie of the Year race? Has Clark already secured it, or does Angel Reese still have a chance? Leave your predictions in the comments. I want to see this section blowing up with your opinions. After all, basketball is way more fun when we discuss it together. And hey, if you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay on top of everything that's happening in the WNBA, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. That way, you won't miss any videos and you'll always be up to date on the biggest stars in women's basketball. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.